Okay, welcome everybody. We're on Daf Mem Hey, and that's yesterday's Daf. We just got our toes in yesterday. So here the Mishnah starts Tiglach Hastara Ketzad. The Mishnah beforehand has spoken about Tiglach Hastuma Ketzad. What does the nazir do when he became Tameh and he has to cut his hair and start all over again? Now it talks about Tiglach Hastara Ketzad. What's the process when he is cutting his hair the way he's supposed to after B'melos Yamim? So just to read the pasuk. It's recording, I think, yeah. So the pasuk says that just to get the general idea, the pasuk says there was Oz Taras Nazir, the day that he finishes his zirus, he comes to Moed, the korban, 3 korbanos over here. There's a kebes, a kivsa, and a ayil. There's going to be a korban ola. That's going to be the male sheep, and there's a chatas, which is the female sheep, and there's an ayil, which is going to be the shlomim. The chatas ola and the shlomim. Also, he brings certain breads, 2 kinds of breads. Soulless, they're called matzos. Soulless chalos bulus b'shemen, v'kika matzos b'shuchim b'shemen, 2 kinds of bread, and also menchasam and eskeim of the regular karbonos of ola and the shlomim. And then he brings all these karbonos. The kohen does the chatas and the ola, and then the ayil is made via shlomim together with the breads al salam matzos. The kohen does the minchas and nisko of the shlomim also. Okay, and then it says that the nazir shaves his head. He takes the hair and puts it on the fire under the shlomim. It means that the shlomim is being cooked. The shlomim, after you brought the korban, so the murim go on the mizbeach, but the meat is cooked and it's eaten by like the Israelim, like any kind of a korban shlomim. And then, so there's a special halacha to put the hair into the fire, which is cooking the korban shlomim. And then the kohen takes the zroa, that's the arm that's cooked from the ayil, and also one of the breads of the chalos matzah, one of the rakik matzah, and he puts it onto the hands of the nazir after he had already shaven his head. And the kohen does tnufa. He picks that up. We'll see how you do that. Not today. And it's kodesh for the kohen. The kohen gets this roa together with the chazei tnufa and shokat shumah, which he gets of every korban shlomim. He gets the chazei and the shok. And then the nazir is mutter to drink wine. And then zos toros nazir. So that's the pasuk. That's by the psukim to get a general idea what happens by Tiglach Hastara. So the Mishnah sums it up. Maybe shalosh behemos chatas ola shlomim. He brings 3 korbanos, like the Torah says. These are the 3 korbanos. Now the Mishnah takes over. The Yehuda says that the giluach, the time that he's supposed to cut his hair, is after the korban shlomim. Which l'chora is the pasuk on the pasuk. The pasuk says chatas ola shlomim. We just read it. And then it says he shaves his hair. He said he's megaleach. So that's the simple shot that the giluach is after the shlomim. Well, megaleach aleihim. What does aleihim mean? L'chora aleihim means that's the 3rd korban. So he already brought all 3 korbanos. So once he did all 3 korbanos, so then he cuts his hair. The pshat I'm saying is not in the Rashi and Taisus and the Rush over here. All that I'm saying is, the first one on the page seems to say that according to Yehuda, he brought the shlomim first, which is not the order of the pasuk. The pasuk says chatas ola shlomim, and they understand that. The Yehuda says that he cuts his hair after the shlomim, that he holds that as the first korban. But it's a very big chiddush, and the Rambam doesn't say like that. And we can learn the Mishnah simply. You have difficulties why is it Alehem, or why is it say different than the order of the pasuk. So we like to learn Pashup Pshat, we like the Rambam, that he's not arguing on the order of the Karbonis. The Karbonis is like it said, Chatas Ola Shlomim, but he doesn't cut his hair until after the Shlomim, like the Pashup said, like the Pashup the pasuk. Very beautiful, something like that. Rabbi Loza Omer, Loim Megalech El Alachatas, Shachatas Kodem B'Chol Mokom. That the Hat cuts his hair, not even though the pasuk says Chatas Ola Shlomim, and then talks about cutting his hair, he cuts his hair right after the Chatas. The Chatas is the first korban. Shachatas Kodem B'Chol Mokom. The Chatas is the first, and there's some of Farshim say Shachatas Kodem B'Chol Mokom, and therefore there's a mila to korban Chatas that it's all first, always, not only over here, it's always first. So therefore, that's why he should be Megalech right away. So the web shot that we're learning is that everybody agrees that the order is chatas ola shlomim. The machlokes is only when does he cut his hair? Does he cut it after all the korbanos? The shlomim is after the last, which is the shlomim, like Rabbi Yehuda says, or Rabbi Lezer says he cuts his hair after the first korban, which is the chatas. new point. Even though we said which one you're supposed to do, either after all the kabbanas or after the chatas, but everybody agrees that if you did it after any one of the kabbanas, he also would be yotze. Even if he would have brought the kabbanas out of order, whichever carbon he brought first, and he would have just cut his hair after one of the kabbanas, also is yotze. If he was cut his hair on any one of the kabbanas, he would be yotze. That's the end of the Mishnah, and now comes Mamash, a new Mishnah, nothing to do with what we spoke about the order of the when he's supposed to cut his hair. Rav Shimon Gamliel Omer, hey, Vishalosh Behemos full of Piresh. If he brought 3 behemoths to say that he had these 3 animals, and he said that this is for my nazirus, but it happens to be that one was a male sheep, one was a female sheep, and one was a ram. He perfectly got it all right. But he didn't specify and say, I raise a ola, I raise a chatas, I raise a shlamim. So automatically it takes effect. The one that is a female sheep is automatically the chatas. The one which is the male sheep is automatically the ola. The one which is the ayil is automatically the shlamim, because that's what the kabbanas are supposed to be. So even though usually you're supposed to pronounce which one is which, here, even if you didn't do it, it takes effect right away, because that's the only way that it's supposed to be. The ola can only, the ram can only be the ayil, the female sheep can only be the chatas, the male sheep can only be the ola, so it automatically takes effect. And everybody should agree to that. Everybody,
this is the regular nazir.
This is a regular nazir Torah, right? That's how the Mishnah starts, the glachas Tara. Okay. That means everything's going well. It's fascinating Gemara to me. Fascinating Gemara. It says in the pasuk that he should cut his hair by the entrance of the Ol Moed. That's what the pasuk says. It says the Gilach HaNazir Pesach Ol Moed is Rosh Nizro. He takes the hair, puts it under the fire, under the shlamim. So the pasuk says that he cuts his hair Pesach Ol Moed, and the Gemara is going to say that it doesn't mean the pasuk pshat. It doesn't mean to take it out of the simple words. It can't mean the simple words. We would think in the pasuk, you learn the pasuk, it comes out that the nazir is brought into the Ol Moed, into the Mishkan, is brought to the Pesach Ol Moed, the entrance into the Mishkan, or by Beis HaMikdash, by the entrance into the Beis HaMikdash, and that's where he cuts his hair. That's what the pasuk says. And the Gemara is going to say, according to most opinions, the Gemara is going to say that it can't be that. And the first shot, the Gemara says what it does mean. First, soon it's going to say why it doesn't mean the pasuk shot, that he cuts his hair by the Pesach Ol Moed. The first shot is Bishlam Mekosem Medaber. The pasuk doesn't mean that he should cut his hair by the entrance of the Ol Moed. The pasuk means to say he should cut his hair by the Korban Shlamim, after they bought the Korban Shlamim, which was one of the opinions over here. In the Mishnah we said, according to Yehuda,
where he's makriv the shlamim.
Not where. We're not talking about where. We're talking about when. When does he cut his hair? In the pasuk it says Achata Sola Shlamim, and then he cuts his hair. And you would be able to think that maybe he cuts his hair after the chatas or after the ola. No, b'shlamim, that he's supposed to cut his hair after the korban shlamim, like Rabbi Yehuda said in our Mishnah. Shochas shlamim u'galech aleim. And for some reason, we're not satisfied with the order of the pasuk that it says chatas ola shlamim, cut the hair. We have to have a pasuk to say that he's supposed to cut his hair after the shlamim. And it's a very drush. This is a drush. It's not pshat. It says shenemar ushchato pesach ol moed. This is a pasuk in Vayikra Gimel. This is a pasuk by Korban Shlamim. By Korban Shlamim, it says he should check the Korban Shlamim by the entrance of the Ol Moed. It happens not to say by any of the other Korbanos that he shechs them by the Pesach Ol Moed, even though it's true by all Korbanos that he shechs the Korban opposite the entrance to the Mishkan. But it only says it openly by the Korban Shlamim. So we're going to make Gzera Shova, oh, Pesach Ol Moed and Pesach Ol Moed. Here by Nazir it says that he cuts his hair Pesach Ol Moed. By the Korban Shlamim it says also the words Pesach Ol Moed. So that's going to be a good drasha that he should cut his hair when he brings the Korban Shlamim. Don't talk about where. It's not saying location. Pesach Ol Moed is a code word that means the Korban Shlamim, and it means that he cuts his hair after the Korban Shlamim. And it doesn't say where to cut his hair. Where does he cut his hair? It doesn't say. It doesn't cut his hair by the Pesach Ol Moed. He cuts his hair after the Korban Shlamim. Maybe say Pashup Pshat. Not a Brisa goes to say, why not read it simply? Maybe he means literally. He's supposed to cut his hair by the entrance to the Ol Moed. So he says, can be. Amrit and Cain, that would be a disgraceful thing to take a haircut right by the Pesach Ol Moed. That's not a place to take a haircut. So this is the reason why it can't be so.
I'm sorry, where's the Seal Cain?
Im Cain.
Im Cain.
That would have been a Derech B'Zayin. And it can't be. So we look at the pasuk. The pasuk says, "Cut it here by Pesach." We say it can't be.
The Svara takes out.
The Svara says that it can mean that. It's a fascinating Gemara.
Huh?
It's a big yisod, but I'm surprised that this is called the Derech B'Zayin. I would have thought that Nazir, what is he doing? He's giving his hair to Hashem. It's a kind of a This is cutting his hair off to Hashem. There's an avoda. What if it's an avoda? We're going to put it under the korban. We're going to be it's a kind of akrova. And the Gemara says it's a bezoin to cut his hair by the Pesach al Moed, and therefore it can't be the pshat. They changed the gears over here now. If you take out these words, if you'd like, that's what the Gemara does. Who takes out these words? Derech bezoinu ba'arei. It says you're not supposed to even go up steps onto the mizbeach because that's considered a bezoyin, a small bezoyin. He's wearing clothing, but the fact that when you go up steps, so a person has to separate his legs a little bit, so that's considered a bezoyin to go on the mizbeach on steps. So therefore, there's a ramp. That's what the Torah says. So to do this, to take a haircut in front of the Baal Moed can be. So that's a raya that it can be. Must be a shlamim. It must be the make this drash Pesach al Moed Gzeir Shabbat because the Pashup Shat can't be because it will be a bezoin to take a haircut by the Pesach al Moed.
That's the end of the brisa.
The brisa is going to continue.
Okay.
But so someone put in a medrash over here, and it's the only time I saw such a margin got into the Gemara, and it brings down a medrash parshas naso. You never saw such a thing. The medrash parshas naso, the fresh mem base, you ever saw such a thing in the Gemara? It tells you where to look in the medrash. So Imam printer got it in. The printer got it in by mistake. It was a gillion on the side that it brings down the same thing we just said from Rabbi Yoshua. Rabbi Yoshua said so it brings down a medrash in page Reish and Beis in the medrash. That's what it sounds like, and it says the same thing, but it's really mamash in parentheses. It says v'gilach nazir Pesach al Moed. Rabbi Yoshua Omer b'shlamim v'kosam medaber. Like he just finished darshaning in the Gemara also says the same thing, that it means a korban shlamim Pesach al Moed Gzeir Shava or Eino Elo Kipshuto. Maybe it means Pesach al Moed mamish. And if it says by the korban by the ramp on the mizbeach, don't go up with steps. It can mean that he's going to take a haircut by the Pesach al Moed. It must be a shlamim, don't use the pashup shat. So that's a gillion on the side. We just read it because the printer decided to put it inside, but it's not a mistake to have put it into the Gemara. The brisa continues. He also agrees that it doesn't mean the haircut mamish in front of the Oel Moed, and it's going to mean shlamim, but he's not going to say the reason is because they're bezoin. He has another source that it must not mean the pashup shan. It says in the pasuk he should take his hair after he cuts his hair. He should take the hair and put it onto the fire, which is under the korban shlamim. But it's mashma that he's right there. He can do it right away. He can take the hair and put it under the fire. That means that it's in the state. It doesn't have to take it any place. That there's nothing else to do besides taking the hair and putting it straight into the fire. But if he's not going to take the haircut next to the place where he's cooking it, then he'll have to walk. He'll have to bring it to the place. If he takes the haircut someplace else, if he takes a haircut by the Pesach al Moed and it's pushed to the Gemara that the korban shlamim is not cooking over there, so to get his hair into the fire under the korban shlamim, he's going to have to bring it. It has to only be lacking taking the hair and putting it on the fire. But here it's also lacking bringing it. Hava. Here he's also going to have to bring the hair if he's going to read the pasuk shan the pasuk and cut his hair by the Pesach al Moed, and then he has to take the hair to the fire, which is not Pesach al Moed. So he has a hafsakat. There's going to be an interruption between taking the hair and putting it into the fire. He has to bring it. Hava. He has to bring the hair to the place where the fire is. So it must be that he takes the haircut next to the place where the fire is. So the obvious question is, who said the fire can't be also over there? Who said that he can't be cooking the korban shlamim next to the Oel Moed also? If it says he's supposed to take a haircut next to the Pesach Oel Moed, and it says that it has to right away put it into the fire, so bring the fire over there. Put a fire and make korban shlamim cooking right next to the Pesach Oel Moed and put the fire in right away. So the Rosh says he doesn't know. The Rosh on the bottom of the page, he says, Tmiali, one line up. Tmiali, why can't he cook let's cook it there also? You might say that's not derech eretz. If the problem is that you can't cook your pot next to the Oel Moed, so then the Gemara should have said, surely you can't take a haircut Oel Moed. The Gemara is not going with that reason. The Gemara is not saying that a bezoyan is enough reason. He doesn't see it as a bezoyan to take a haircut. So surely not a bezoyan to cook the pot next to the Oel Moed. So he says he doesn't know. He leaves it with a question. The Rosh doesn't know who told the Gemara that he doesn't cook it also next to the Oel Moed. That's the end of the Gemara. So far, the Bryce is going to continue soon. But so far, we have two reasons why it must mean the Shlamim, and it's the drash of Oel Moed. There's a Gzeir Shabbat to say that it means Oel Moed. Why can't it mean the Pashup Shat? Either because it will be a bizoyon to take a haircut Pesach Oel Moed, or because he has to immediately put it into the fire under the shlomim pot, and the shlomim pot is not there. For some unknown reason, the shlomim pot is surely not that festival moed. So therefore, since he has to take a haircut and right away put the hair without any hafsaka to put it into the fire, so it can't be that he has to walk to the place where the pot is cooking. Again, we skip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because it's just the same thing over again in different words. And usually this would be called lishna achrina. Here it's called Rika the Amri. The Gemara points out that don't look for a nafkamina between these two opinions because it's not a different opinion. It's just a different version of the same thing saying over again. And usually in the whole shas it's lishna achrina when it means different printing. And here it says Ika the Amri, which is we had a nazir also one time that it said Ika the Amri, but it's lishna achrina. So these 5 lines also are just another version that the printer put in. Ika the Amri, it's the same thing over again. If Yitzchak Omer b'shlamim akasim medaber, it's also Yitzchak talking that it must be a shlamim. Atom shlamim akasim medaber in el pesach al moed mamish. Maybe it means literally a pesach al moed. Tamad Omer v'lokach hastar rosh nizro, and it says right even nasan malkum shayim b'bashal shamayim agaleach, that the haircut has to be in the same place where he's cooking it. There shouldn't be any yachshon between. So it said the same thing over again in different words, and you don't have to read it even because it's a different version and
What's different?
Nothing.
What's the Kedamri?
It's not a Gedamri. It's a different version. Like you look in the Gersos, the Ksav, different Gersos are the same thing. It's
That's
just
the same word.
it's a different it's a different version of the same thing. It's not like the Gemara brings on 3 Gedamris. Some say that Yeshomim, it's not a Yeshomim. It's a lishna achrina. The girl points it out over here. Just to point out. He says take out the whole thing. Take out this whole thing, these 5 lines, because it says the same as Lishna Kama. And the Sifri says Lishna Basra, and I'll just point out that that's always says Lishna Achrina, not Ikadamri. Besides in the Dorm and the Nazir, that it says Ikadamri, but that's because the Dorm and Nazir is Lashon Mashuna. It's not the regular term, the lexicon of the Shas. Rashi with Taisvis, they don't have it at all. The low Pirshu Klumal said they don't. So it's just the Pasha. That's a different version. So we could skip that. We already skipped 10 lines on this page already. Okay, and now to the bottom of the page is the 3rd shita in the brisa. The brisa is continuing. He doesn't say that it means a shlamim. He also agrees that it doesn't mean the pashup shot. He doesn't say why it doesn't mean the pashup shot. He's also going to agree one of the above reasons why it's not the pashup shot that he takes the haircut literally over there. But what does the pasuk mean? So the first shot was a gzera shava, the pesach al moed, that it means a shlamim makasam medaber, and he says a different shot. Pos man she'ein pesach ol moed pasuach eno magaleach. Pesach al moed means that the ol moed has to be open. The door, the curtain, the door to the ol moed has to be open. If it's not open, then he's not allowed to cut his hair. It's not a kosher cutting of the hair if it wasn't pesach al moed. This says by all kavanas. All kavanas has to be pesach al moed. Usually it says it. The pasuk says it by shlamim. When we learn out from there that always by all kavanas that all moed has to be open, and here it's saying that the haircut also has to be when the all moed is open. But he also agrees that it's not the pashup shot. I just the color code on the page is that the green are the pshatim that's being said in pesach al moed. This word pesach al moed. What is the pshat? So we have so far 2 pshatim. One is that's talking about a korban shlamim. It means that he should cut his hair by the korban shlamim. Another pshat is he should cut his hair when the all moed is opened. But both of these pshatim so far don't say the pashup shot in the words that it means that he cuts his hair in front of the all moed. Why? Why don't they say the pashup shot? So we have 2 reasons on that. That's the blue. The blue are going to be 2 reasons why I can't say the pashup shot. One is because it's there bizayon to take a haircut over there, and one is because there can't be hafsaka between cutting his hair and putting it into the fire. And meat has to be right there, and the pot where the shlamim is cooking is not over there pesach al moed. So it must mean that the haircut is also not pesach al moed. But what does it mean? What?
Therefore, you need a different.
Yeah, they definitely different pshat. We have 2 pshatim. So each one of these pshatim will have 2 reasons why he doesn't want to say the pashup pshat. And all the mafarshim in the Chumash don't say the pashup pshat. They don't say why.
Why is that?
Because of this Gemara.
And they can't be.
That's why they're Bezoyan or the other drash, because it has to be without Mechus Lakicha. But all the mafarshim, I even looked at Rabbi Kaplan, he also doesn't say the pashup pshat. Nobody says the pashup pshat that he cuts his hair by the pesach al moed. But as we go down now, behold, alas, there's a Meferish Gemara, a Tana, that does hold the Pashup Pshat. And they didn't know, for some reason, they don't bring it down. Rabbi Kaplan brings down the Pashup Pshat. But no one, I didn't find anybody, maybe I didn't look so much, but I didn't find anybody, even those that I would expect would say Pashup Pshat. They didn't say that it means Pashup Pshat, because it's here by the old Moed. And Rabbi Kaplan would have brought, because he brings out all the Mefarshim, and anybody that says it on the page, he would have brought it down. I think that's his chazak. And here, look at the bottom line. Rabbi Shimon Shizui Omer, V'gilach hanazir pesach ol moed, v'lo nazira. This halacha that the nazir is supposed to cut his hair, pesach ol moed, applies only to a nazir, a male, but not to a woman who's a nazira. She also has all the halachas of a nazira. And why? In the Amud Beis, Shema yizgor b'apir chaykuna, because they're going to see a woman with her hair, beautiful hair, so that's going to be enticing to the Kohanim, the young Kohanim that are there in the old moed. They're going to see the woman with her hair uncovered. She's cutting her hair. I would have thought the opposite. They're going to see her shaving her head, and she's going to look like a menuvelet, megulachat. I would have thought that it's not at all enticing. And if anything, it would just take away that the whole hair is nothing. It's a garnish. She does cut it off, and it becomes nothing. But the fact that they would see her before she cut her hair, so that's enticing, and therefore she should not. The pasuk doesn't mean that a woman should cut her hair pesach al moed, but muchach that Rabbi Shimon Shizuri learned the pasuk pshat that you do a pesach, that the man does do a pesach al moed.
So,
Why?
You're saying that she doesn't shave her hair at all.
No, she surely.
It's just not Pesach HaMoed.
Yeah, for sure. And the Rush says this. The Rush in the bottom line. Begilach hanazir. Begilach hanazir below the zero sphere laid. The lefnei al moed. Ayam megaleach. Rabbi Shimon Shizuri holds that the regular nazir is megaleach by the Pesach al moed. The e lav davka pnei al moed. If there's no din to do it in the location of the al moed, yechol legalech makom senua. So that's all. Like everybody else is doing it. So yimagalech and like anybody else. Upalig amas nisen. Where's this rush? Upalig amas nisen. It says in our Mishnah, what the Gemara said before, that everybody else still now held that it wasn't kipshuta. There's also a Mishnah Mitzachas Midah says there was a place that was in Lishkas Nazirim. If it was over there in a Makam Sanua, so then the woman also could have done it. That's also called enough of Pesach Ol Moed. But according to Shimon Shizuri, does somebody say differently than me? What does he say? Oh, so he says the same thing.
Not in the Azora.
Again, the woman. Yes, again, that Isha Magalachas Bazora.
Azora, not the Pesach HaMoed.
Sheisha Lo Magalachas Bazora. Ela b'Medina. Not only the Rush, the Mefarish also says so, that the man is Megalech Bazara. Pesach Ol Moed. What? You have to say, well, else what's the problem?
Where were they cooking the shlom?
Let's say in the Azara.
It's not Pesach HaMoed.
Why is it not Pesach Ol Moed? Because
otherwise you can remember Pashup Pshat Pesach HaMoed that is by the shlom. So if you're saying Pesach HaMoed, it has to be Dafka Pesach HaMoed,
Okay.
not near the Shlomim.
So what's the question? What do you see in the Rashi that he doesn't? What do you see in the Rashi that
He doesn't
know
that the man shaves Pesach HaMoed.
So where does he do it? Where does the man do it?
Until now, right next to the pot, so it shouldn't be.
So where's the pot?
Not Pesach HaMoed.
So let the woman also do it over there. That's the
That's not Makom Senua.
make it a Makam Sanu.
So that's what they say.
No, again, the Rosh says that it must be that Shimon Shizuri holds Pashup Pshat, that the man is supposed to do Pesach Ol Moed, and over there it's not a Makam Sanua. So the woman cannot do it. But if the Mefarish means differently, so then the question is, do it Bazor Makam Sanua. Where's the man doing it?
Not Pesach HaMoed, he's been doing right by the fire.
So where's the fire?
Not Pesach HaMoed, because we said that can't be, because it says
So do it in a Makam Sanua. What? If wherever the man does it, let the woman do it, then make it a Makam Sanua. Why are you taking away the halacha? That the halacha of Pesach HaMoed that says in the Torah, V'gilach HaNazir. You're saying that here the Torah says Dafka the Nazir, not the Nazira. Why? Because it can't be. Because it's not going to be. It's going to be a problem for the Kohanim to see the woman. So that means that the man is supposed to do it in a place which is open to the Kohanim. Where does he get it from? From the words Pesach Ol Moed. I think the Rush at least so says of a Farish.
Right, the Rush says of the Farish.
And maybe Rashi has different. But okay, I don't get Rashi then. That's a Rush's kasha.
Right.
So it comes out that there's a Farish Satan of Shimon Shizuri that says that it's Kipshuto.
According to the Rush.
And I'm surprised that no Mefarshim bring down that that's a Pashut on the pasuk. They mamish take it's mamish a drush to say that it's a Gzera Shava, or that it means Mizman Pesach to read the Pasuk Pshat. Even if Bar Kaplan he reads the pasuk. The Gilach Nazir Pesach Al Moed, the Nazir should be megalech at the time of the communion, which means this when it's open or something like that. One of these pshatim, or yeah. So I'm very surprised. Of course, there's Rashim Pshat, but in the Pshat I would say for sure the Pshat is Pesach Al Moed, and if you Shimon Shizuri says even Allah Chalamayis, Shimon Shizuri says that it means Pesach Al Moed. I just been pointing out that in the Pasuk Pshat, if anybody was reading simple reading, that's what it says, and Shimon Shizuri didn't knock it down. And I would just point out that L'chora, he's not taking haircuts down. This is an avoda. It's an avoda. He's giving his hair to Hashem. It's to put it into the fire. What's putting it into the fire for? So just to point out that there are three pshatim in the pasuk Pesach Ol Moed. Either it means shlomim, or it means that the Pesach the Ol Moed is open, or that it means kipshuto. Amru lo. This should be amru, not an amar. Amru lo. So the Chachamim said to Shimon Shizuri, the Varecha Sota Tochiach the Sibba. Over here, you're worried about the Kohanim that they're going to see a beautiful woman, and therefore you said it can't mean the Pshat or the Nazir, but the word Nazir means the Fuke and Nazira. By Yesota, over there it also says that Lifnei Hashem, and we don't say that it doesn't mean that she's a woman over there. And over there it says that the Kohen undoes her hair, Poras Rosha, and we don't say that maybe the Kohanim are going to be enticed because they see a beautiful woman. That Barasota, she's not beautiful because she's being made disgusting over there. It says that Poras Rosa Isha, they're going to be menavel her. So over there's no chash that the Kohanim are going to get enticed. The word that's the word enticed, right? But this woman, she's a beautiful woman. She's Kachalas Upakasa, she has makeup, whatever it might be.
Even if the Sota is not guilty, however you would say it.
So the one talks about that she was guilty of being secluding with a man after she was born not to. There's definitely guilt over there. The only question was she actually mizana, mamish to be mizana mamish, okay. But she's guilty. And
whereas a nazir, it's a.
But what are you talking about? Why are you bringing that in for? Why are you bringing in the issue of she's guilty on that?
Why she's not beautiful to the Kohen?
Because she's going to be made disgusting. They're bringing her in. They're going to undo her hair in a way that it's going to be discussed afterwards.
The nazir is also going to be made.
Right, that's my kasha. That was my kasha. I asked that she's going to shave her hair, but
so
it's coming
because there's some kind of guilt with the sota, and the nazira there's
some kind of
praiseworthy.
I'm not saying that. The Gemara doesn't say that. The Gemara says she's beautiful and she's not beautiful.
But then nazira, the only hair the shave.
And why is the nazira beautiful in this?
Because she has beautiful hair. When she comes in, she has beautiful hair, and she might have had whatever she did. She's.
Well, it's not because the nazira, according to the Gemara, it's a praiseworthy thing.
No, it doesn't say that. I'm saying it doesn't say that. The words don't say that.
Okay, and what's not beautiful about the sota?
They're coming to make the whole beauty
with somebody.
Yeah, that's not the question of beauty. The question is if she's beautiful physically. She's beautiful, physically beautiful.
Every sota wasn't beautiful, and every nazira is beautiful. That makes sense to me.
No one's talking about that. We're talking about if she has beautiful hair, and is it a problem for the Kohanim that are there?
Yeah.
So it says by here, Shimon is concerned with that, and therefore he says she shouldn't do it openly. She shouldn't cut her hair in an open place.
And I'm still stuck with
and
the hair of a sota, but the hair of a nazira. You look at both of them. How would you say one's beautiful and one's not beautiful? Well, the hair is hair.
I'm not following. Here it says that she makes herself beautiful, although she doesn't make herself beautiful. The sota is coming disgusting. Even if she's a beautiful woman, she's coming disgusting, and they're coming now to disgust her. The whole purpose is to make her disgusting. They're going to take her, they tear her clothing, and they hold it up with a rope over her breast, and it's a disgusting situation. It's a bizayon. They're coming to be mevazah. So even if she's a beautiful woman, everyone sees that this is a disgusting thing that's happening to her. They're not going to be enticed by her beauty.
I see.
The matzav is not that she's disgusting because she didn't have Avera. The disgust is that they're coming to make her disgusting. The Nivas says
the matzav is
the matzav, right? And
the nazira
comes in with beautiful hair, and she's not coming disgusting. She might have had makeup, she might have had a hairdo, whatever. She came in, she's coming to give her hair to Hashem now, even though right away she gets shaven. Look,
She probably brings along a hat or a mitachat.
It could be, but they see her with her hair.
I get what you're saying. And she wears her Shabbos clothes.
Yeah, it's a big thing. She's coming out to Hashem. She's giving her hair to Hashem. Kabbanis, it's a God's thing. And she, of course, she brings a tickle right away. She's going to put on.
Okay, I see. It's not inherently the beauty of the woman.
Right, not the beauty. It's inherently the beauty of the woman, but it's not because she's a holy woman or because she's a faithful woman. It's because here they're going to make this woman disgusting, and here they're not coming to disgusting. Or she's not coming into this.
Okay, another nakuda. Over here, the degrading her. Over here, the mechaber her. So
even though she's shaving her hair, but it's not in the degrading way.
Right.
It's in a holy way.
When people look at her, they
look at it positively. Over there it says by the Sotas on the country, he used to call it all the women should come. And he also called a notion that the women should come and take Musar. This is what happens to a woman who's unfaithful. So they see a disgusting thing happen to her. She's being disgraced. Okay, the Mishnah continues. What happens in the Seder of the Nazir Tahor? So we said so far they cut the hair, and now it says, what do you do with the hair? That's the pasuk so far. That he takes the hair and puts it under the pot. The dud is a pot, and they put it in, like the pasuk says, he put it in the fire under the shlomim.
Well, the shlomim was already.
The shlomim was already
on the fire.
The shlomim is on the fire. It's cooking it. It's in a pot.
And what do you do? Lift it up?
You put it into the fire. It's always lifted up. It's not suffocating the fire. There's a grate over there, something that has to hold the pot on top of the fire.
And then you put in the hair.
You put the hair into the
under
fire.
Into the fire.
Right, into the fire under the pot.
Mm-hmm.
Now the question is, in Gilach Medina, if he didn't do it in the Mikdash, it's supposed to be in the area of the Mikdash. Now we had a Mishnah before that says he doesn't do it Pesach Ol Moed. There wasn't a Mishnah, that was the Gemara. The Gemara spoke about the whole sugi we just had, that he doesn't cut his hair Pesach Ol Moed literally, but it's still in the environs of the Mikdash. Like we saw, or was mentioned, that in Maseches Midos there was Lishkas and Nazirim. In the Ezras Noshim, there were 4 chambers over there, and the Dromis Mizrachis, the southeastern, which was, he came in to the left, the first one on the left. That was the Lishkas and Nazirim over there. The Nazir would cut his hair, not Pesach Ol Moed, in the Ezras Noshim, in a private chamber over there that was dedicated to that they would have the pot of the Shlomim. He would cut his hair, put the hair into the fire. But if he would have cut his hair outside the Mikdash, the Gilach Medina, it doesn't make the korban puzzle. But is there halacha to bring the hair to the fire? We said before that he's supposed to do it right away. It's not supposed to be hafsaka. There's not supposed to be interruption between cutting the hair and putting it straight in. And here he's going to have to make hafsaka. So it says, if he didn't cut his hair in the Mikdash right next to the pot of the korban shlomim, so then he doesn't bring the hair to the korban shlomim. Before we spoke about what he should have done. And here it says that if he didn't do it, you don't put the hair under the korban. Some have a different gear. Some don't have this word lo. Just to point out, we'll see in the Gemara that there are a few opinions. The question is who's our Mishnah? But this word lo is questionable. We read it the way it says it, and the Mishnah he doesn't have it. And we're going to see there's a machlokes tanon. The question is going to be which our Mishnah holds like. But this word lo is going to be the difference. We'll read it the way it says it, that if it was outside the Mikdash, if you cut his hair outside the Mikdash, then there's no halacha to put the hair under the pot.
And it wouldn't get burned at all. Is that the idea?
So what do you do with it?
Yeah, what do you do with it?
Maybe he's supposed to bury it. We'll see something in the Gemara. Maybe he's supposed to bury it. The whole halacha of cutting his hair, it only says in the Torah when he's a nazir Torah, when he finishes his whole Torah process. Then it says that he brings the 3 korbanos and he cuts his hair and he puts the hair into the fire of the korban shlomim. But by nazir tameh, that he became tameh in the middle of his nazirus, he's also supposed to cut his hair. But over there, the Pasha says it's just to cut his hair in order to get rid of it, and now he starts again. And that's what the Mishnah over here says, that by tiglachas tuma, when he cusses here because he was tamei, there's no such thing of putting the hair under the pot of the korban shlamim. But the Meir argues, but Meir Omer, Hakol Mishachan Tachas Adud, Chutz Min HaTamei Sheba Medina Bulvad. So the way our Mishnah reads, it said that there are two cases where you don't put the hair into the fire. One is if the Nazir Tohar cut his hair not outside the Mikdash, in Gilach Medina Lo Yamashalech, and also at Tiglachas Tuma Lo Yamashalech, even though he was in the Mikdash, even though he would have cut his, even if he cut his hair in the Mikdash, there's no din for a Tiglachas Tuma to put it on. But Meir says not true. I argue on both of these halachas. I hold that if a Nazir Tohar was Mekalech Medina, he does put the hair into the fire, and a Nazir Tamei also, if he's in the Mikdash, he does put his hair into the fire. Only both of them together. Hakol Meshachat Achased. Only if you have both chesronos. If he's also the Glachas Tuma and it's out of the Mikdash, then he doesn't put his hair into the fire. But either one alone, he would. Tanakama said no, that either one, if any one of these reasons is not enough. Only if you have two things positive, that is a Nazir Torah in the Mikdash. The Gemara continues. Notel Sar Rosh Nizro. That's what it says in the Mishnah, that pasuk. Tan Rabbanan. V'achar kach notel esarote v'nosan al eser Rosh Nizro. So we never heard of this, but here it is. A Brisa. The Mishnah doesn't say so, but the Brisa says that besides the hair that he puts into the fire, he also takes some of the gravy out of the pot of the korban shlamim, and he puts it onto the hair, and then mishalech tachas adut shlosh shlamim. But so besides the hair being burnt in the fire under the korban shlamim pot, also some of the gravy also goes into that fire.
That is the pasuk?
No.
How much is the pasuk?
It wasn't a pasuk; it was the idea of the pasuk. But the just said no tel sar rosh nizro. That's the pasuk says. Let's see the pasuk. The pasuk says the lakach esar rosh nizro. That's the pasuk. The Mishnah said more or less to paraphrase it. It said no tel sar rosh nizro. The pasuk says lakach, and the Mishnah says no tel. But that's not the point. The point is the next thing, that he's also, besides taking his hair, he's also supposed to take the gravy and put it onto the hair, and then put it into the fire. We'll see the Gemara is going to say a drash for that. How do you know that? The im shilach now goes another point in the brisa. Im shilach tachas hadud shel chatas va'asham yatsa. If he put his hair into the pot, cooking the chatas and the asham, he's yotze. Now those are very vague words. We don't even know what it means. Putting his hair under the pot of the chatas. So which chatas is there? So there is a problem. What?
The chatas is. Oh, they both have chatas.
Both have, yeah, true. They both have chatas. So both of them have chatas. The Nazir Tamei has a bird, which is a chatas, and the Nazir Tohor has a female sheep, which is a chatas, and also it's eaten. So it could be also that's going to be cooked. He could cook it, he could roast it. But if they were cooking the korban chatas and he put his hair under the chatas pot, also yotze. Okay, we can understand that it's talking about a Nazir Tohor that also has a korban chatas, even though he should have put the hair under the pot of the korban shlomim, he put it under the chatas, he's yotze. But it also says in the brisa under the asham, he put the hair under the asham. There is no asham by a Nazir Tohor. So what are we going to do with that? So the Gemara jumps up. This is not a Gemara talking. Until that was the brisa.
Because he wasn't supposed to, according to Rabbi, according to everybody.
Nobody. There's no asham by a Nazir Tohor. There's no asham. There's a
no hair.
So
no hair. Everybody agrees you don't.
There's no asham. We don't want a Nazir Tohor.
I see. Okay.
So there is no asham. There's no korban asham. There's a chatas olah and shlomim.
Yeah.
You can talk about the olah. There's no pot because the whole olah goes on the mizbeach.
I was looking the other way. If we're talking about a nazir tamei, then there's no hair to bring.
Also good. But the Gemara is going to say something about that. But first, the Gemara thinks that it's talking about a Nazir Torah, the regular process, what we're talking about. So the question is no Asham? That's the Gemara's kasha. Asham and Nazir Torah Meika. Is there a korban Asham by a Nazir Torah? What are you talking about? Is Yosef, you put on there is no Asham. Amarav Hachikama, like Leib Yaakov said, in Nazir Tamei, Mishalech Tachas Adud Shel Asham Yatsa. If a Nazir Tamei would put his hair under the pot of the korban Asham, then he's Yosef. So what does that mean? So like Yaakov said, it doesn't make sense either, because there is no pitch for the put. What? You're right. Right. There was no din to put it. Good. There's no din to put any here under the pot. What's being Yosef? So you might learn that it's going according to Rabbi Meir.
Because it was done in the Mikdash.
Yes. That Rabbi Meir says that a Nazir Tamei in the Mikdash would put his hair under what?
Under something.
Under which?
Oh, because normally with Shlomim there is no.
No, Meir doesn't mean that, right? There's no, normally means with Nazir Torah, but now we're talking about Nazir Tameh. Meir says in the Mishnah that a Nazir Tameh does put his hair into the fire. Which fire? So the only two choices, there's a Chatas bird, there's an Ola bird, and there's a Asham animal. So that's interesting that it says if he put his hair into the fire of the Asham, he's Yotze. What should he have done? Like there's a Lachatchila and a B'diavad. Why a regular Nazir Torah? We say Lachatchila should put under the Shlomim. He put it under the Chatas, he's Yotze. Makes sense. But by
is it supposed to go under something that they eat? If so, then it would be.
it has to be something. It has to be something that they, yeah.
So not the Ola. So then the hot.
So the Chatas, it means the Chatas Ha'of that is eaten by the Kohanim. Also, they're going to cook it. So it would sound like what? That if what should he have done the Chatchila?
Put it under the hot.
And if he did under the Asham, he's Yotze. That's interesting. Why should it be dafka under the Chatas? Like who told us all that? I don't know. And also, just to look at the Brisa does say since it says, if you look a second ago, when we had the problem,
we're still in the Brisa.
We're in the Brisa, well, we're interjecting over here.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if we're going to continue. Could be the Brisa is over already. But it said,
because it says Rava.
It says, Asham, the Gemara said, Asham, if you put it under the Chatas for Asham, is Yotze. Asham and Nazir, then the Gemara said, no, there's no Asham. So the Rava said, it means if it's a Nazir Tameh and he put it under the Asham, is Yotze. But you have to stick over there in Chatas also, no? Because the Brisa says, if we're talking about a Nazir Tameh, so then it's saying on both of them, he's Yotze B'diavad. What do you mean Yotze B'diavad? What should he have done the Chatchila? It has to be the Chatas or the Asham.
Very good. I hear.
So you might say that the Chatas is going only B'diavad on the Nazir Torah, and the Nazir Tameh the Chatchila should put under the Chatas, and B'diavad is also under the Asham. Very, like a little difficult how to juggle that. The Rambam, it doesn't say what we just said. The Rambam says that the paskins that you don't, not like you don't put it under the you don't put it under a Nazir Tameh. A Nazir Tameh doesn't put his hair like Tanakama. That a Nazir Tameh doesn't put his hair under anything, and he still says that if a Nazir Tameh put his hair under the Chatas Vashim is Yotze. What do the words mean? What? How could you put these two things together? Like Levi Yaakov asked, that if there's no din to put his hair into the fire, how could you say that is Yotze?
You should have said Loma Cave.
Loma Cave, what? It doesn't mess it up. You might think,
doesn't mess it
you
up.
might think it messes it up.
Yeah.
That's something that's wrong. Maybe.
But Yotze is not
That's
the best way to say it.
There's Yotze, if there's harmony that it messes it up, you might think maybe, I don't know why I should mess it up. He did a korban chatas, he did a korban asham, and now he's cooking it. That's already his own business. So not his own business, but it's not anything to do with the
Well, he
korban.
looks like
Yotze the
the
korban
fact that he's putting in the fire. It looks like he was tahor.
So it should mess up that. It should mess up that korban chatas wasn't a good korban chatas or asham. So this is a problem that they say in the Rambam. I had a huge chiddush that I don't know if it makes sense at all. That if I'm just saying it in the I wrote you line in the back of the book, like not even at the bottom of the page. That is it possible to say that if he put, he's no such thing to put his hair of a Nazir Tameh to put into the fire. But if he did, he'll be Yotze putting his hair into the fire, even later on when he's going to become a Nazir Torah, he's going to have to put his hair into the fire, and he didn't, but he did it to the Nazir, in his Nazir's Tameh, he's Yotze putting his hair, he put hair on that would be credit, that even though he doesn't have to.
If he didn't do it in the end.
If he didn't do it at the end, so he says, but I did it before. And then he wasn't supposed to, there was no such to put it. So that sounds like too much of a chiddush. But I just was trying to read the words. Here we have the pshat that we said that it means according to, not like the Rambam, that if he put, maybe Yaakov says it might be that he messes it up. He put the fire into the fire, maybe he messed up the korban. So Kamash Malon, you didn't mess it up. Okay, that's the end of the Brisa with Rova's explanation. It goes back to the thing about the rota. You're supposed to put the gravy under the fire also. Where did that come from? Amar Rava, Amar Kru, Asher Tachas Zevach HaShlomim. The pasuk says she should put the hair into the fire, which is under the Zevach HaShlomim. And the Drash is going to say, Mizivcho Yehei Tachtav. Not only the hair, there's some, I don't see the exact Drash exactly, but he's supposed to Tachas Zevach HaShlomim is supposed to say that the Shlomim itself is also under itself. What does it mean? You're supposed to take some of the Shlomim and put into the fire under it. So, as the Rosh explains, it can't be the meat. You don't take the shlomim meat and put it into the fire because the shlomim is supposed to be eaten. But the gravy you could take. So that's why you're supposed to take the gravy and put it onto the fire, onto the hair, into the fire under the korban.
What is the gravy? Are we talking about the juice or is something you make?
You put the shlomim into water and it's cooking. That's called gravy.
Mm-hmm.
The Brisa continued. The im shilach. This is a quotation. We just said we're not immediately on the first part of the Brisa. He's supposed to put the gravy on, and now we're continuing the Brisa. The shilach tachas adishal chatas ve'asham. That's what I said before. But that's the yatsa. That was the quoted in the Brisa, and we just try to figure out what the words mean. But now that we know what the words mean, my timer. Where do you get that from? Where do you find out that the chatas or the asham b'diavad is good enough? Amar Kra Zevach. The Rabbi says the chatas vasham. The same pasuk. Hashatachas tachas zevach hashlamim. That word zevach we're going to also use for another drasha that not only the shlamim, the chatas and the asham is also yatsa. Good enough. Which we said the Pashup Shach would say that it means according to a mayor that holds that you're supposed to put the fire under the korban. Which one I'm not sure. Which one is better? And if you did on the other one, it's still yatsa. So the whole kasha is going to be now that you can't use the same pasuk for two things. You're saying in the same pasuk, one is to tell you that you put the gravy into the fire, and the other one is that the chatas asham is also yosei.
Because it was zvachim, that's a zeva.
Maybe it's an extra pasuk. Ashatachas hashlamim. Now the Gemara is going to say, how could you use two drushes for the same for one word for two drushes? We said before that the pasuk zevach is to tell you that you put some of the gravy. And came name of my zevach. It didn't say the word zevach. The zevach is coming to tell you even different zvachim, even the ola, even the chatas and the asham. For the rotav, it just would have said shlamim or rotav ashlamim. Shlamim, the rabbi's chatas vasham is coming to tell you some kind of a zevach, which is some kind of a slaughtering, which is the chatas and the asham. So maybe only it's coming to tell you that. And you don't know the drush about putting the rotav. In came name of shlamim the zevach. It should have said it in a way that you wouldn't be able to read it, that the zevach is under the shlamim. My zevach, hashlamim, shlamim latati. There's a nuance both ways to tell you put the rotav under the korban, and also that if you put the hair under the chatas vasham, you also yotzim. Now it goes to the main subject we talked about. Is there a din to put the hair in the Medina if you're outside the Beis Hamikdash or by Nazir Tameh? So Tana Rabbanan, Akoloi Mishalchim Tachas Adut Chutz Mitamei Shegilach B'Medina B'Pnei Shesar V'Nikva Divrei Meir. So the same thing that we said in the Mishnah. That is the Mishnah, the same thing. That only if it has two things going against him, that he's Tamei, Nazir Tamei, and also that he's cut his hair outside the Beis Hamikdash, then he doesn't put it under the dud. Here he tells you what you do with it. He's supposed to bury it. So he says he doesn't know where you get it from, but he's supposed to bury it. And they say that's Shana Mishnah and Tamura that says Sar Nazir is Nikba Nanik Borin. It means Sar Nazir Tameh, that you don't put it into the fire, so then you bury it. But if it doesn't have both chesronos, if it's not going to be a Tameh B'Medina, then he is going to put his hair into the fire. If it's going to be a Tameh B'Mikdash, or it's going to be a Tohar B'Medina, you do put the hair into the fire. In the Mikdash. He says the simple everything's dependent if it was Torah time. If it's another Torah at the end of his Nazirus, so then he does need it. Put the hair.
Does Rabbi Yehuda agree that you bury it?
No, which one?
If you don't bring it.
The tummy, the Nazir tummy. The tummy is not supposed to put it under the fire. What does he do with it? Yeah. So it could be he agrees to Rameir at this point. That's what I was mentioning before, that it could be that he holds the burial. So according to Rabbi, we don't care Mikdash, not Mikdash, we just care Torah tummy. The Chachamim moment, Makoloi Mishalchim Tachas Adud, Chutz Min HaTorah Shebemikdash, B'nei Shenaseh B'Kim Mitzvaseh. Only if you have two things going for you, that it's Torah B'Mikdash, that's the place where you're gonna Mikdash. Two things, two Tati L'Tevusa, two good things. According to Rameir, only if two bad things. That is Tamei Chutz L'Mikdash. Then you don't. According to Rabban, the opposite extreme. Only if you have two things going for you, Torah B'Mikdash, that's when you do put it into the fire. If you're missing either one, you don't. And Rabbi Yehuda says everything depends if it's Torah Tamei, Torah, and then even if Torah out of the Mikdash does, and the Tamei even in the Mikdash does not. Just to go back to the Mishnah a second.
So the Mishnah, the rabbis were not. We didn't see the Mishnah. Right?
So it depends how you read the Mishnah. Oh. It means the Girsa. You're right. And Gilch ben Medina lo haya mishalech tachas adud.
I'm sorry. Where are you in the Mishnah?
This word, the second word, the second line. Gilch ben Medina.
Im Gilach, yeah.
Lo haya mishalech tachas adud. That's like Rabbi Yehuda, right? Is that like Rabbi Yehuda?
Yeah, it has to be in the Mikdash.
Medina. No, Torah Medina. Yeah, no, this is not Rabbi Yehuda. If you have the Gersa low, that's Rabbanan. Right? The way we read the Mishnah in front of us, that Medina not and Tomei not. Either one not. That's going to be, the way we have it, it's going to be the Chachamim. That only if you have two things going for you, that it's Tohor, the Mikdash. If you take out the word low, then it's going to be Rabbi Yehuda.
Oh, I see.
And there are some that take it out. And the Mishnah and the Mishnah is printed. The printed Mishnah is, it doesn't have the word low. So there are two opinions. There's a Chacham and Rabbi Yehuda. Our Mishnah is Rabbi Meir, Meir is Rabbi Meir. And who's the Tanakama? So it depends what the gear says. If you have the word low, so then it's the Chachamim. If you don't have the word low, then it's Rabbi Yehuda.
Nice. Can I ask a question on the top part when we talked about the sota?
Yeah, sure.
I thought that, okay, I understand the matzav is she's ugly and everything, and so they can be there and the young Kohanim watch it or whatever they do, they see it. But then why do anyone who sees this in her degradation should
We'll
refrain
refrain from wine.
And why is that?
Because they see what happened, because she drank wine, that's what happened. What brought to this? I mean, the fact that
it wasn't the same problem. It wasn't necessarily that they were aroused by arousal. It was that they see what happens from drinking wine.
Yeah, right,
okay.
Right. The one who's when you see a sota when she's being degraded. Because they see, look what happened to her. Because she went into such a path, that's what happened to her. Or if she eventually is going to die, but the whole thing makes people say, I'm not going to get there.
Okay.
So we just did yesterday's daf, and if it's okay, we'll hold that. We'll hold here.
Okay.
Yes,
7:35.
7:35.
I put it down on the.
Okay.